Hello everyone. So welcoming you once again in this series of online videos, and in this series we are covering 100 most important topics, not questions, associated with what? With your upcoming UPSC Civil Services Prelims Exam 2026. So in today's video, what I am going to cover. So let us have a look. So in this particular video, I am going to discuss a little bit, not in detail, about what? Uh, about little bit Maharashtra Dharma, Warkari Yatra, Tukaram or Saint Tukaram, then the coronation of Shivaji, then of course we have the Maratha hill forts and the Ashtapradhan, and after that statue of oneness, statue of equality, and a famous Bhakti saint of medieval India, Mirabai. Clear? So let us start our topic. Tukaram, Warkari or Warkari Yatra, Shivaji Maharaj coronation, hill forts, Maratha hill forts, and the Ashtapradhan. So before understanding this Warkari Yatra, about Saint Tukaram, let us have a quick look about the Maharashtra Dharma. Maharashtra Dharma. In my previous video, in which I discussed a little bit about the Bhakti movement, at that time I discussed that the Bhakti movement of Maharashtra, known as what? Known as Maharashtra Dharma. The prominent saint, the prominent sant, the prominent monks, you can say, associated with Maharashtra Dharma were Gyaneshwar. Then we have Namdeva, then Tukaram, Eknath, Ramdas, Chokha Mela family. All these were the prominent saints associated with the Maharashtra Dharma. And the saints of Maharashtra Dharma, they strongly criticized the caste-based discrimination and the untouchability. They lay emphasis on love and devotion in order to attain salvation. So, in attaining salvation, caste, gender were not barrier, according to whom? According to the saints of the Maharashtra Dharma. Clear, dear? So now, in the month of Ashad, Ashad is the month associated with Hinduism. Maharashtra witnessed a very famous yatra known as Warkari Yatra. Warkari Yatra. Now the question arises, what is Warkari? Warkari is basically a religious order or a sect. And the people following Warkari sect, they worship Lord Vithoba. Vithoba has been in Maharashtra, has been considered as a form of Lord Vishnu or Krishna. And the very famous temple of Vithoba is where? It is located in Pandharpur. On the bank of river Bhima or Chandrabhaga. Getting my point? So the followers of Warkari sect, they worship whom? Lord Vithoba, also known as Khandoba, also known as Panduranga, and also known as Pandharinath. So the followers of the Warkari sect, they involve in a very famous yatra known as Warkari Yatra, in which we have the two famous palaki or palanquins of the two famous saint of Maharashtra Dharma. known as, and the name of those two famous saint of the Maharashtra Dharma, the first prominent saint of Maharashtra Dharma, Gyan Deva, and then the Tukaram. So there, though this Varkari Yatra starts from where? So Varkari Yatra starts from this Alandi and the Dehu. Alandi has been considered as a place where the Sant Gyan Deva or Gyaneshwar took Samadhi. And what about this Dehu? So Dehu is the birthplace of Sant or Saint Tukaram, and both Alandi and this Dehu are where? In the Pune district. So now the follower of the Varkari sect, they took what? Palki or palanquins. And in the Palki we have the Charan Paduka of what? Pedestal or the Charan Paduka of these two famous saint, Gyanadeva and what? And the Tukaram. And the Palki of these two great person reaches where? Reaches in the temple of Vithoba at Pandharpur. Clear, dear? Now, next, let us know a little bit about the Gyan Deva and the Tukaram. So, Gyan Deva associated with which century? 13th century. He has been considered as the founder or the first saint of Varkari sect. So, Varkari is what? A sect. In Maharashtra, we have so many sects like Mahanubhav sect, like Datta sect. But the most famous is or was both Varkari. Clear? Now, the Sant Gyaneshwar or the Gyan Deva, he wrote what? Bhavarth Deepika or Gyaneshwari. You know, this is the Marathi translation of Bhagavad Gita. Marathi translation of Bhagavad Gita. Which one? Bhavarth Deepika. And then he also wrote Amruta Anubhav and Chang Dev Prasasti. So remember the name of these books written by whom? Written by Gyaneshwar. Now, the brother of Gyaneshwar, name Nivrittinath or Nivrittinath, he was associated with Nath sect. Clear, na? Nath Panthi or the Nath sect, in which the people, they condemn caste, they condemn untouchability, and they worship Lord Shiva as the first Nath. And the founder of this Nath Panthi or Nath sect is Matsyendranath. He belongs to Maharashtra. And the Nath Panthi or the Nath sect became popular mainly because of the Gorakhnath in early medieval age. Now, coming on to this Muktabai. Muktabai was the sister of Gyan Deva or the Gyaneshwar, and he was also a saint. Then I have discussed in my previous videos a little bit about what? The Nam Deva. Then from here I am moving towards the Sant Tukaram. Tukaram associated with which century? Answer is the first half of the 17th century. He has been considered as the contemporary of Shivaji Maharaj or Chhatrapati Shivaji. Now, Sant Tukaram was a married person and associated with which sect? Varkari sect. His Abhang here means what? Abhang here means devotional songs. Devotional songs are very famous in Maharashtra. Clear? So that is all about what? About the Varkari Yatra, about Gyan Deva, and about the Tukaram. Now from here moving towards the coronation of Shivaji. If you are preparing this topic, then you must prepare a little bit about the life history of Shivaji, his military conquest, and the administration of the Shivaji or the Marathas. So see, the birth of Shivaji is around 1630, where Sivner, and where is Sivner? It is near to Pune. The father of Shivaji, Sahaji Bhosle, mother Jijabai, and his mentor was Dadaji Kondadeva, and the first prominent fort occupied by Shivaji was around was, you can say, in 1646 he occupied that fort. So now I am giving you a homework to identify the fort that was occupied by Shivaji in the year 1646, and that was the first prominent fort annexed by the Shivaji. Now from here you must prepare about what? The famous battle of Pratapgarh, and in that battle Shivaji defeated whom? Afzal Khan. And who was Afzal Khan? Afzal Khan was the minister of Adil Shahi dynasty of Bijapur. Then in 1663 Shivaji defeated the Mughal Mansabdar. But in 1665 Shivaji was defeated by the Mughal Mansabdar Jai Singh, and he forced to sign a Treaty of Purandar. Treaty of Purandar. See, my topic is coronation of Shivaji, so that is why I am not discussing in detail, but while preparing this topic you must know about what? About all these important events. Shivaji, under this Treaty of Purandar, surrendered near about 23 forts out of 35 forts, and he also accepted the superiority of Aurangzeb. He promised the Mughal or the Aurangzeb to help Mughals against the Bijapur or against the Adil Shahi dynasty of Bijapur. The elder son of Shivaji, named Sambhaji, he was appointed as the Mansabdar, the Mughal Mansabdar of 5,000. But very soon differences arose between Shivaji and the Aurangzeb. So what Shivaji did? He violated this treaty of Purandar, and he plundered twice the Surat. Surat, considered as the financial capital of the Mughals. He acquired resource, and on 6th June, my dear, remember the date, 6th June 1674 at Raigad. Raigad, where is Raigad? It is in Maharashtra between Mumbai and the Pune. So at Raigad, the coronation of Shivaji took place. So on this particular date, he declared himself as the Maratha king. It means he became the founder of the Maratha state. So on this auspicious occasion, what Shivaji did, he took so many titles like Chhatrapati, like Hendav Dharmodharak. So here we have Hendav Dharmodharak, Chhatrapati, Kshatriya, Kulwant. All these were the titles taken by Shivaji on the occasion of his coronation. Clear now? And on this occasion, he also issued multiple coins like the coin, gold coin known as Sivarayan. So it's a very important one there. Clear? So from here, I am moving towards the Ashtapradhan. Ashtapradhan was an important feature of the Marathas' central level administration. But before discussing Ashtapradhan, let me make it very clear that the many officers of the Ashtapradhan were already in existence. So the many officers, not all I am saying, the few officers were already there in the Deccan area. So Ashtapradhan is what? Group of 8 officers. But here you must remember that these 8 officers had not functioned like what? Like Council of Ministers. All these ministers were individually responsible to whom? To Shivaji. So this Ashtapradhan is very, very important for your exam. Many times UPSC has asked this question. Many times. So let us know the name of the prominent officers or the officers of the Ashtapradhan and their function. So the most prominent officer among the Ashtapradhan was the Peshwa or the Pant Pradhan. After Chhatrapati, he was the most important officer. He looked after the general administration. Now then the finance minister called Amatya or Majumdar. He was a kind of what? Finance minister. Who? The Amatya or Majumdar. Then coming on to the Sachiv. So Sachiv or Suranvis. Sachiv or Suranvis. He handled what? The royal correspondence. Now Mantri or Vakya Navis, he was the head of intelligence. Remember, very very important. Then coming on to the Senapati or Sar-e-Naubat, the name itself suggests that he was like commander general. Then coming on to the Sumant or Dabir. So Sumant or Dabir, he was what? A foreign minister. Sumant or Dabir. Then Nyayadhish, the name itself suggests that he was the head of the judiciary. And then the Pandit Rao, head of the religious department and the charitable department. Here you must remember that the highest court of justice was Shivaji itself. Number one. Number two, that you must know that except what these two, that is Nyayadhish and the Pandit Rao, all participated, or compulsory, they had the duty, they had their role to participate in war, but not these two, Nyayadhish and Pandit Rao. So they are not going to function like a military officer, but except the Nyayadhish and Pandit Rao, all also functioned as what? As military officer. It means whenever war will start, they have to take part in that war. So I think that this Ashtapradhan is clear to all. Now, very very important for this particular year's exam, and the topic is the Maratha hill forts. Recently, that is in the year 2025, it has the Maratha hill forts, around 12 Maratha hill forts have been inscribed as World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Remember this point. So under these 12 forts, 11 are in the Maharashtra region and one is in the Tamil Nadu, that is Jinji. Jinji, also called the Troy of the East, located where? In the Tamil Nadu, and rest of the 11 forts located where? In the Maharashtra. So few forts are island forts, few located interior part or into the dense forest in the hilly area. So let us know the name of all the 12 forts. So we have Raigad Fort, you already knew this, Raigad, Maharashtra. Raigad itself is a district located between Pune and Mumbai, and this fort was developed by whom? Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Rajgarh, also called king of forts. Then Sivaneri, it was the Sivaneri where the birth of Shivaji took place. Near Sivaneri is near to Pune. Then Sindhudurg, this is what? An island fort, and it was developed, built by whom? Shivaji Maharaj. So very very important. You may expect a question that which one among the 4 forts not built by Shivaji. Remember, so built by Shivaji Raigad, built by Shivaji Sindhugarh, and which one among the 4 following forts is or are island forts? So Sindhudurg fort is what? Island fort. Then we have Vijayadurg fort. It was not built by whom? Shivaji. Rather, it was built by King Bhoj of which dynasty? Silahar dynasty. And the rulers of Silahar dynasty ruled which region, dear? So they ruled Konkan region. Clear now? Yes, but here we have a very interesting fact associated with the Vijayadurg. We have a officer, a British, whose name was what? Norman Lockyer. So he, during what? During this solar eclipse, he discovered helium during solar eclipse. Where? In the Vijayadurg fort. Then we have the Pratapgarh fort, Lohagarh fort, Panhala fort, Suvarnadurg. So like Sindhudurg, we have Suvarnadurg. This is what? An oceanic fort. And remember this one also, Salhar fort. It is near to Nasik and has been considered as the highest fort in the Deccan region. Salhar or Salhar fort. Remember this point. Then we have Khanderi fort. This is also a sea fort, that is island fort. And the Jinji, very very important. All the 11 forts I have discussed so far located where? In the Maharashtra. But what about this Jinji, located where? In the Tamil Nadu. Clear, dear? So yes, from here I am moving towards the statue of oneness, statue of equality, and the Mirabai. So where do we have this statue of oneness? It is in the Khandwa district of Madhya Pradesh on Mandhata Island. And the statue of oneness belongs to the Adi Shankaracharya. Now the question arises, why this statue is called statue of oneness? Remember my class of what Bhakti movement, in which I discussed a little bit about Adi Guru Shankaracharya, and the philosophy of Shankaracharya is called Advaitvada or non-dualism. Advaitvada or non-dualism. He said what? That the soul is identical with Brahma or the God. It means soul has no independent existence. Soul is an integral part of the God or the Brahma. It means soul and the Brahma are not two different entities, rather one entity. So that is why his theory is called Advait, non-dualism. And we have the statue of oneness. Soul and God are one, no two different entity. Remember, my dear? So yes, this statue was inaugurated in the year 2023, and the height of this particular statue is 108 feet. Remember this point, 108 feet, the height of this particular statue. So that is all about what? All about the Adi Shankaracharya's statue, statue of oneness. The theory of this non-dualism or Advaitvada I have already discussed. Now coming on to the statue of equality, and this statue belongs to whom? The propounder of the philosophy of the Bhakti, known as named Ramanujacharya. Clear, na? Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya philosophical interpretation of the Vedanta philosophy is called Visishtata Dvait, modified monoism or qualified non-dualism. So where do we have this statue? Answer is, it is in Hyderabad, and it is made of what? 5 metals. Inaugurated when? In 2022. Now the question arises, why this statue is called statue of equality? The answer is, the Ramanujacharya, he lay emphasis on equality. He condemned caste and untouchability, and he says that all are equal in the eyes of God and all have the right to attain salvation. It means he spread the idea of equality. Clear? So now you all knew that Ramanujacharya's birthplace Tamil Nadu, Sri Perambudur. Clear? And his philosophy, qualified non-dualism, I think I have already discussed in my previous video. He just modified the philosophy of Shankaracharya, that is non-dualism or Advaitvada, and he said that yes, soul is the part of the God, but it has its own existence. And he also focused on what? On Prapati Marg, that is, if you want to attain salvation, then you must believe in what? Love and devotion to your worshipped or venerated God. So love and devotion is the way to attain salvation. Just completely dedicated yourself, devote yourself towards whom? Towards the God. So Parpati Marg, very, very important. Then we have one fundamental difference between the Brahma of Shankaracharya and the Brahma of Ramanujacharya. The Brahma of Shankaracharya is formless, no attributes, while the Brahma of Ramanujacharya has form. So these are the facts. I think that these facts I have already discussed. Ramanujacharya, Bhakti saint of 11th and 12th century AD, birthplace Sri Perambudur in Tamil Nadu, and he has been considered as the founder of what, not founder, he popularized the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya or the Lakshmi Sampradaya. He worshipped whom? Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu. It means Ramanujacharya was Vaishnavite. Clear, na? So he was Vaishnavite. He wrote books like Bhagavad Gita. He wrote commentary on the Bhagavad Gita and the Brahma Sutra. And the book Brahma Sutra written by Badrayan, and Badrayan was the propounder of which philosophy? Answer is Vedanta philosophy. All these points I have already discussed. This point you must remember, where or in which temple we have the mummified body of the Ramanujacharya. Answer, in Tamil Nadu we have a temple called Sri Ranganath Swami temple in Sri Rangam. So in this particular temple we have the mummified body of Ramanujacharya. Now dear, last topic of this particular video, and that is Mirabai. So Mirabai belongs to 16th century and she was a Bhakti saint. She was you can say a Vaishnavite. Clear? Belongs to which century? Remember, 16th century. What about the Ramanujacharya? 11th and 12th century. What about Sankaracharya? Late 8th century and early 9th century. Remember these points. So yes, birthplace of Mirabai is what? Medta. Where is Medta? Rajasthan. And she was the daughter of whom? Ratan Singh, who took part in the Battle of Khanwa, and in that Battle of Khanwa, he lost his life in the year 1527. Now, Mirabai was married to whom? To Bhoj Raja. And now, who was Bhoj Raj? So, Bhoj Raj was the son of Rana Sanga. Rana Sanga, the ruler of Sisodiya dynasty, Mewar, Chittor. So, Bhojraj died at an early age. After that, what Mirabai did, she devoted her life towards what? Towards Lord Krishna. She sung a song in Rajasthani and in the Braj Bhasa. She spread Vaishnav Bhakti in the parts of Braj region and also in the parts of Rajasthan region. Clear, dear? So that was all about whom? So that was all about the Mirabai. So thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.